The stone hashira Himejima Gyomei is a demon slayer without parallel, whose strength, skill, and resilience earned even Kokushibo's respect. But what if Gyomei was a demon instead of a demon slayer? In today's video, we'll explore what would happen if Gyomei was transformed into a demon. Our story begins on Mount Hinode, where Gyomei was born into the Himejima clan. As he was born blind, the child was never destined to be a tradesman, and he was sent to a temple to grow up as a monk instead. In the temple, Gyomei cared for a group of 9 orphans. Since the area was infested by demons, he would go out every night to light wisteria incense to keep them out. One night, a child named Kaigaku snuck out of the temple and encountered a demon. In a desperate attempt to save himself, he betrayed his fellow orphans and extinguished the wisteria incense, allowing the demon to enter the temple. The demon begins viciously slaughtering and devouring the young children. Gyomei orders the children to get behind him, but with no faith in the frail blind boy, the children run out of the temple. Unlike the original storyline, Gyomei is unable to save any of the orphans this time. As he cries out in despair, the demon approaches him, but something snaps deep inside. Gyomei flies into a wild, uncontrolled rage and pummels the demon with his bare fists from night until dawn. He smashes its head into the ground until the sun rises and burns the demon away. As morning comes, a group of villagers arrive at the temple. With the demon disintegrated, they see Gyomei standing in a pool of blood, surrounded by dead children, and assume the worst. Tormented by his failure and the fact that the children thought he was too weak to protect them, Gyomei surrenders himself and allows the villagers to imprison him. Racked by guilt, he lies in the cell, convincing himself that he deserves death. Meanwhile, the Upper Moon One, Kokushibo, receives word of a boy who defeated a demon with no sword and no training. Being someone who values strength above all else, Kokushibo goes in search of this child, hoping to convince him to become a demon. Upon reaching the prison that night, Kokushibo is even more stunned to realize that the boy is blind. Sensing Gyomei's immense potential and the regrets welling up in his heart, Kokushibo speaks to the boy. He tells Gyomei that as a demon, he will never have to worry about being unable to protect the weak. Ever the cunning manipulator, Kokushibo goes a step further and tries to break down Gyomei's faith in humanity. He reveals that Kaigaku let the demons into the temple, and accuses the villagers of lynching him without even bothering to investigate. Keep in mind that Gyomei has not yet been influenced by Ubuyashiki Kagaya's principles either, and he is in a state of immense distress. With his emotions spiraling out of control and tears streaming down his face, he accepts the Upper Moon's offer. As Gyomei consumes a bit of Kokushibo's blood, the Demon King's cells surge through him, examining the new host. Muzan senses his immense strength and potential and accepts Gyomei's transformation into a demon. As his body is gradually converted into a demon, the previously frail Gyomei grows to monstrous proportions, surpassing the size and muscularity he would have had as the stone hashira. Knowing that he must leave before sunrise, Gyomei breaks out of the prison with ease and escapes into the woods to begin his new life as a demon. Even as a demon, Gyomei retains his monk's attire, wearing the traditional robes with a Buddhist chant on its frame, and grasping a string of ojuzu beads. As a symbol of his unending remorse, the demon Gyomei is always seen with tears in his eyes. When he's not on the hunt, he spends his time in solitude, deep in prayer and reflection. Gyomei does not give in to his bloodlust, choosing to do the exact opposite and maintain a strict discipline instead. He imposes suffering upon himself by fasting for extended periods of time. Similar to Akaza, who doesn't attack women, Gyomei also follows a strict code of not hurting children or the weak. He prefers to hunt strong opponents such as demon slayers and soldiers, often targeting deserters first to punish them for their treachery. Even though Muzan does not approve of Gyomei's principles, he cannot deny the demon's strength. He starts off Gyomei as one of the lower moons, but he quickly rises through the ranks, killing legions of demon slayers to reach the title of Upper Moon 4. As he grows in strength, Gyomei develops a range of blood demon arts to complement his immense strength. His techniques focus on physical attacks such as shockwaves and earthquakes, which disorient his foes. Now before we get into Gyomei's legacy as a demon, let's first take a look at what would happen to the demon slayers if he does not join them. As we see in the final arcs of the manga, the stone hashira is Kagaya's closest confidant, and the only one who knows of Oyakata-sama's plans to sacrifice himself to injure Muzan. Without the stone hashira, it's hard to imagine Kagaya finding another demon slayer he would trust so deeply. Giyu and Kyojuro are mature and discerning enough to take up the role, but they do not command authority the same way Gyomei does. However, an even greater loss would be the insect hashira, Kocho Shinobu. Gyomei saved Shinobu and her sister from demons when she was younger, and was the main inspiration for Shinobu herself to become a demon slayer. Without Gyomei, there would be no insect hashira, but even more importantly, the demon slayers would lose out on Shinobu's work on a variety of demon poisons. She also played a vital role in the development of Tamayo's anti-Muzan drug. Now, while it's highly likely that Tamayo would still continue her work on poisons, the final weapon used against Muzan would probably be less potent, giving the Demon Slayers a tougher time in their showdown against the Demon King. The final major character who suffers from not having Gyomey around is Shinazugawa Genya. Being a brother to Sanemi, the wind hashira, Genya dreamed of being a demon slayer, but lacked the talent to develop a breathing technique. However, Genya has the ability to develop powers after consuming part of a demon. It was Gyomey who saw Genya's potential and trained him to be a demon slayer despite his inability to use total concentration breathing. Instead, Gyomey taught Genya to focus himself and block out pain using a technique developed by the stone hashira called repetitive action. In Genya's case, he repeats a Buddhist chant called the Amida Sutra to mimic the effects of total concentration breathing. So now we have Muzan with another powerful lieutenant by his side, Kagaya lacking a confidant, and the Demon Slayers without two of their strongest members, as Shinobu was killed by a demon and Genya never reached his full potential. Even with this handicap, most of the major achievements by the Demon Slayers up to the Infinity Castle arc remain the same. Hantengu, Kyoko, and Gyutaro and Daki are all defeated in battle, and Nezuko develops her immunity to the sun. In the meantime, both Tanjiro and Muichiro are also able to awaken their Demon Slayer marks, making them formidable threats among the Demon Slayer ranks. However, the real challenge comes about when the Demon Slayers take on Muzan and the upper ranks in their final decisive showdown. Once again, Nakime will be defeated by Mitsuri, Obanai, and Yushiro, while Zenitsu will avenge his master by defeating Kaigaku. Giyu and Tanjiro work together, activating their Demon Slayer marks to take out Akaza as well. Problems begin to arise in the battle against Doma. In the regular timeline, Shinobu sacrifices herself to give Doma a lethal dose of poison, but this time the Demon Slayers will have to fight him at his full strength. Now, we can't know for sure if Kanao will ever become a Demon Slayer without Shinobu's influence, but even if she joins the battle along with Inosuke, the two will definitely need the assistance of a Hashira to take out Doma. However, the real challenge is when the Hashira have to go up against the Upper Moon One, Kokushibo. Gyomey is shown to be the only Demon Slayer who can keep up with Kokushibo without activating his Demon Slayer mark. Chances are that the other Demon Slayers like Tanjiro and Giyu will step in to fill in Gyomey's void. But without the Stone Hashira, it's likely that more Hashira such as Sanemi and Giyu will die at Kokushibo's hands. With that, it's time for the final showdown against Muzan, and unfortunately, the Demon Slayers will lose this battle without the strongest Hashira on their side. Even if the remaining members of the Demon Slayer Corps can keep up with Muzan, we still haven't considered the fact that they'll have to fight against Gyomey's demonic form. Taking on the earth-shattering demon monk would likely end with even more Hashira dying or being seriously injured, which means that they'll be even weaker in their fight against Muzan. Ultimately, even though the Demon Slayers are in their golden age, it's still not enough to defeat the forces of evil, and the surviving Hashira retreat to regroup and fight another day. This means that the only way Muzan can be defeated is if Gyomey supports the Demon Slayers in some way. But what would inspire him to change his mind about humanity and defy the king of all demons? The best bet for humanity is actually Muzan's decision to let Kaigaku join the Upper Moons. Gyomey will remember Kaigaku as the child who betrayed him in the temple all those years ago and resent the Upper Moon 6. While he won't switch teams immediately, Gyomey will probably help Zenitsu in his fight against Kaigaku in order to complete his revenge. We know that powerful demons such as Tamayo can resist Muzan's control, and Gyomey has no shortage of strength and willpower. However, Muzan will detect this betrayal and vow to destroy Gyomey. This threat might push him to switch allegiances, as Gyomey is not particularly loyal to the demons anyway. With Gyomey supporting the Demon Slayers, their chances against Muzan improve significantly, but whether they succeed or not is still up to chance. So what do you think? Will the Demon Slayers prevail even without Gyomey? Let us know in the comments down below. See you next time. Bye!